Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Aave, Link and Avax price prediction based on Elliott Wave analysis. We're gonna start with Aave on the all-time history here, where we are looking at a great impulse toward the upside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave A or wave 1 finished. We're looking at a correction here, 3 waves down, and of course another 3 waves up, and another 3 waves down here as a potential, of course, a triangle unfolding, of course, over there. Now, if we don't count this wick here, let's say that this wick is finished as a potential bear market or something like this, you can even count an A, B, C, D, and an E here. Potentially can be finished, yeah, as a triangle, and that we might start to see, of course, something for higher as potential possibility, of course, here for Aave. Now, another possibility, which it might be very sideways still, it can be, of course, a longer wave C here, D and an E, and then moving for higher. Another scenario is very bearish, of course, ABC 1-to-1, very far possibility, of course, not before at least taking this low and even lower prices over there. So basically, I would say yes, there is a possibility to move for higher here, in case, of course, that this wick is done and this structure is finished kind of like a wave E, and that, of course, the things might start to move for or shift for higher. If we dive inside this structure on the micro level here, we can see as well that we might have hit already our blue box as expected, by the way. So we already expected exactly a rejection or a rebound from this blue box, and here we are. And that because, of course, this is can be as well internally playing as a 1-2 over there. After an impulse toward the upside wave 1, you have an A and 3 waves toward the upside in a wave B, and potential, of course, wave C unfolding here toward the downside. However, it is very hard, of course, to count here. Double 1-2 can be, of course, probability in a wave 3 and then 4 and a 5. But this wave 5, in case it is, of course, then you are in double 1-2 and currently wave 3. And this wave 4 is going to invalidation, meaning removing, of course, as well this possibility. Last option is to remove the ABC and replace it, of course, with a potential W, X, and a Y. And this wave Y, of course, is a very complex structure, which it is, of course, inside a wave Y can be even much complex somehow. Very rare case, but I mean, this is a bear market in crypto always, right? It's very complex, very messy, and very annoying. So basically, it is very interesting what we are looking at here. And that because, of course, if we are in a 1-2 here or a wave 1-2-3, very likely that we are going to take this high here, this low, meaning invalidation, of course, of any kind of bearish scenario as impulse, and we might already reverse since we have hit our blue box. Internally, for more answers on the 1-hour chart, well, we see clearly that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here as a diagonal wave 1 and wave 2, given wave 3 unfolding here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, extended wave 1, wave 4 not interfering. That is very nice. Wave 3 finished, wave 4, and here we go. We unfold the 5th waves toward the upside, which it looks also very nice as an impulse for higher prices. So basically 1-2, 1-2, we're looking even here, potential big 1-2, and then 3, 4, 5. It might, of course, unfold several 1-2s here with several 4-5 as well. I'm still expecting continuation toward the upside for Aave in both case scenario. Now on the daily, if we are really moving for something very bullish, what are the key level here to make sure that we are continuing for higher? First of all, what we would like to see, of course, internally, of course, 5 ways, meaning finishing this impulse, getting a correction, and taking the high again. This is already first signal that we are moving bullish here. The second thing is breaking the 1-to-1 fib level as a zigzag. Moving above it, meaning, of course, unfolding wave 3 towards the upside. And that might mean, of course, 4-5. And this, of course, is going to be your 1-2 for your wave 3 towards the upside. You already have a bigger 1-2. So, yes, expect a very massive move there towards higher prices. And now, of course, even especially if you take this high in a bigger picture, of course, you know, always 5 ways up, 3 ways down, and then you take the high. This is your confirmation. And our target is, of course, $762 for Aave from 176. So that's very nice in case this will unfold, unless, of course, we go with a scenario of a longer sideways here, right? Before we move for higher. Yep, so that's it regarding Aave. If we move for the next one, which is Link. For Link on the all-time history as well, we are looking at a potential impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, finished wave 1 or a wave A, followed by W, X, and a Y, X and a Z, because of course we took the low still here, and then following an impulse as a potential wave 1. Now, after this impulse, you got kind of like an ABC expanding flat, what we were expecting here, 3 ways down, 3 ways up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turning into a running flat. What is very, very confusing is that you, of course, got invalidation of this impulse after it, which means, of course, it has turned somehow here as a potential A, B, C, D, and an E running a triangle. And running triangle, of course, after this impulse, we are expecting here potentially a triangle, and we might see, of course, something as a wave C unfolding toward the upside. So very, very interesting what we are looking right now at the crypto market. It can be something, of course, as a signal, of course, not confirmed yet, of course, as a bull run, guys, but it can be very likely that this scenario is unfolding. Plus, another possibility here, let's say this is not an impulse and it is something as complex structure. Let's say you are in an A, B, C, D, and an E. You finished potentially wave E before taking the low here for the wave C, meaning the triangle that we are looking at here is probably finished. And we might move, of course, in a very massive wave C toward the upside. The target might be the $69 from $13. Very interesting for the crypto market, what we might see, of course, next. Now, on the lower time frame, if we take a look at the structure on the 2-hour chart, in case that we are in several 1-2s here, because you have an expanding diagonal, of course, as a potential wave 1, 2, and you have, of course, an impulse here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Another 1, 2 as well is unfolding there. Now, this correction here as 3 waves, wave A, perfect flat, wave B given, and of course a diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, perfectly finished in the blue box, and of course below it a little bit, taking the 886. Now the 886 normally reduced the possibility, but we didn't, of course, invalidate this impulse yet as a 1-2. Don't forget the rules are, of course, that you need to take the low to invalidate a 1-2 here as an impulse. So it is very likely and possible still, of course, to be in a 1-2. But the guideline, of course, says, yeah, it reduces the possibility. In case that this is not the case of a 1-2 and we have to consider this as a zigzag, that means it is a part of the triangle that we saw on the daily. Meaning, very likely you have finished a wave E over there, and we're moving, of course, for a wave C toward the upside. In case of bearish, of course, we would like to see weakness again. We would like to see continuation toward the downside. But I still doubt it, guys, that this is kind of like an unfinished structure here. I think that the structure really has finished. We see a potential here, 5 waves also, and the reaction after the blue box on multiple coins, of course, in the crypto market right now. So it is, of course, something to be watched. But how we make sure that we're gonna survive this? Well, once you take also this invalidation, I would say that will make us much more comfortable to, of course, think about something much more bullish, meaning $13.5. That would be, of course, our first signal that we move for higher, meaning the probability start to increase from there for, of course, something bullish. Second, we're going to depend again on the structure, 5 ways up, 3 ways down, continuation, breaking the highs. This is your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, continuation toward the upside step by step. So that's it for Link as well. If we move for Avax. So for Avax as well, on the all-time history here, for Avax, we are looking as well as this structure, which is a little bit hybrid here. It can be, of course, an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a wave A or a wave 1, which I doubt it as a wave 1. Can be much more likely A, B, and a C here, where you are looking as well at a potential structure in W, X, and a Y as well, can be very, very likely. So this W, X, and a Y, in case it is, it has, of course, failed to take the low, which is also very interesting. I mean, with the wick here. And we see here kind of like of the structure in potential 1, 2, 1, 2. If this is also a diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's not consider the wick again to make it also a possibility here to think a little bit simpler and not trying to get complex here, because of course this is what it wants the market from us, to not be able to read the price somehow 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. In case you ignore this wick, you have finished potential running flat here. ABC, meaning, of course, it can be a signal, of course, of a reversal for the market here, and of course, jumping for a wave C toward the upside. So yeah, we're gonna see what's gonna happen inside it. And also, if you take a look at the structure, it looks like a finished impulse. Despite that, of course, I'm expecting to be truncated here. I'm not expecting to take this low again. I was expecting a truncation, and I'm still expecting it. And in case that we still gonna dive for lower here, well, of course, I mean, we need some targets, preferably, of course, to take this key level here as well as invalidation of bearish. And that means, of course, if you are still probably in a 1, 2, 3 here and 4 and a 5, the wave 4 is not allowed to interfere in the $15 for Avax. And that would be, of course, the first signal. Despite that, we have to take a look also at the structure: 5 ways up, 3 down, taking the high, confirmation for higher prices. Yeah, so we're gonna walk with it, of course, step by step. It is a nice signal. This is what I was expecting in the live stream in the weekends as well, to finish up, because that is not really optional for me to take the wicks, okay, on all the coins. It is optional much more for me that we finish a structure in the micro level here, and we start to see at least a strong rebound. And here we are. We start with it. Now we're gonna assess the things step by step. We'll see what's gonna happen, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.